Hello and welcome back. Here we are once again on our objective screen, so let's take a look. What are we doing? We will create a radial design inspired by traditional mandalas. How are we doing this? By following directions and using Pixlr E. And why are we doing this? In order to learn about symmetrical balance and radial balance. Let's take a look and see what's next. We're going to go ahead and skip our vocabulary review today and go right into our daily goal. Again, today's daily goal is kind of hefty, and we're going to finish up this project. So it says here that we're going to add a filter to the background and to radial design. Okay, so to the design part of this. So we're going to do both of those things. Then we're going to save this to our downloads project folder as a final finished project. And we'll also take a screenshot of our progress photo for this as well too. So we're going to go ahead and move over to our Chromebook. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and open up here at the top in our tab and find our program. So pixlr.com/e/. We're going to find our radial design project. If it's here, again, easy, you'll just double click. If it's not located here, you may have to go to open image and find that downloads folder and open your file. So there it is. And the nice thing about this, when you do save it and can reopen it right in Pixlr, you'll notice that over here in the layers palette, I still do have the layers. If I was importing this from my downloads folder, it would be one layer, which is fine because we're going to actually do that right now. So over here in the layers palette, just like we did when we had the half of the mandala with all the little pie shaped pieces, we merged those layers together. So we're going to right click on here and we're going to go to merge visible layers and smush them together so it's now one layer there. Okay. After we do that, we're then going to go ahead and start to add a background. So the first thing I'm going to do is over here in the layers palette is I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to choose an empty layer. Now that layer is on top, so I'm going to drag it below. I can't drag it below at the moment because when I merged them, they locked. So I need to unlock by double clicking on the lock. Then I can click on layer 2 and bring it behind the image layer. All right, so with layer 2 here selected, it's in blue. I'm going to come over and grab the rectangular marquee tool. Okay, this is the rectangular, it could be an ellipse. I'm going to start in the top left corner and drag down to the bottom right corner. It can be bigger than the actual area. Okay, and it will then, once you click off of it, select just that canvas area. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I want to kind of fill in my background with a background color. So I'm going to come over here. I could use the flat paint bucket tool and pick a color here and just come into this and click. And then I have a solid background. Okay, but let's do something just a little bit more exciting. So right to the right of that tool is a gradient tool. So I can click on the gradient tool. When I go up to the option bar across the top, I can do a radial gradient, which is kind of cool with our project, right? So radial, and then I'm going to choose some colors. Now, the cool part about the color picker here is I can select the color on the left. What it did right now was it took my foreground and my background color from over here and created a gradient with the two. But I can come in here and I can make that stronger in one way or the other, okay, in the image. Okay. I can also change the colors. I can also add markers in here. So with this first marker here selected, I'm going to choose color, and I'm going to kind of drag the color picker for a moment out of the way, and I'm going to come down onto my actual artwork. And you can see that when I do that, it starts to select colors that are inside there. It also, based on the color that I have selected here, gives me some options that may look good with this. This is so nice in Pixlr that this is something Photoshop does not have. Okay, or that I'm aware of at least. maybe in the newer version. So I'm going to pick a color that is in the composition and something that's not super prominent. So maybe this like purple color, and we'll take a look at that. So I'm going to click that and click OK. So it puts that color into the gradient. And then I'm not sure if no, I want to delete that one. Not sure how I feel about the black. So let's see if we change that black color. And let's go, we can go with something darker. So that's the blue color that's in the image. And I'm going to come down in that value and pick something a little darker. Okay, so I kind of like that, but this yellow is a little bit much and so light with what we have. So let's change this yellow to a, let's go back in there, to this darker orange color. That, okay, let's see what that looks like. Very interesting color combination that I have there. So we're going to go ahead and click off that. That will put the gradient in there for us to use. Now the way the gradient works is you click and you drag across your image. So when I did this, my darker color is where I end and my lighter color is where I begin, or my first color is where I begin. So I'm going to, if I want purple on the outside, I'm going to start on the outside. I'm going to drag in towards the middle. Okay, oops, not quite. Okay, so with that radial, you have to start in the middle. So if we wanted those colors to be reversed, we would actually have to come into this and just do that. Delete that one. We'll put the blue on this side. We'll grab the purple and put it on this side and move this up to that edge. Okay, so I flipped it. I'm going to start in the middle and I'm going to come out. Okay, the shorter the line, the more of that last color. The longer the line, the less of that last color. So you can kind of play around and see where you want those colors. I'm going to always start in the middle because otherwise your circle will be off center. There, something like that. And actually, I'm pretty pleased with that. That looks pretty nice. So I'll go with that, I think. I kind of like that. Let's see if I can get it. Let's do this. Put this color and get that purple. That marker, that color. Purple. I could put the numbers in here. Let's see how this looks. I think I'm really going to like this better. I think I do. Okay, so we're going to go with that. That brings some of that dark purple that I liked from that chair out to the edge. All right, I'm not quite done yet. So that has a nice background and my radial design has a nice design, but we can add some more interest to this. So with the background layer selected, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to filter, and I'm going to come down to what I'm suggesting is the mosaic filter. Now you can play around with any of these filters or go into the effects library and play around anything in there. A lot of them are not going to do much. For example, if we go to the library and we change from the effects library to friends, you can see some of the options that the color change is going to happen with some of those images for the background. Or I go to urban. Okay, you can get some different color changes there. The reason that I like filter and mosaic is it tends to give it a little bit of a texture. So if I go, how much of a mosaic do I want? So I could get really crazy with it. Okay, I'm not going to go that crazy, but I am going to get some kind of texture in there. Kind of like that. That looks kind of nice. Maybe just a little bit stronger, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to hit apply. You can then compare back and forth. So do you like it? No. Do you like it? No. I do like it, so I'm going to apply it. Okay, there's really no going back except your edit undo when that happens. Okay, now I like that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to apply a filter to the radial part of the design. So in the layers palette, I'm going to come and select the image. And then I'm going to go to filter. And for this, instead of hanging out with, I don't really want to put a mosaic texture on it. I don't really want to change the colors of it, but I could give it a bevel. Okay, and so we'll go to bevel. And you can see I have some spaces and gaps in some of those that are causing some problems with the bevel. So nix that, I don't like it. Go back up to filter. So instead of bevel, you could do a shadow behind it, like a drop shadow. That would put it like off to one side. You could put an outline around it, like a line the whole way around the design. See what that looks like. We got to be careful with these too, because if they do have those pixels missing, it may come into the design. This one looks like it handled it pretty well. And it's in that purpley color. So actually, I kind of like that. We could, again, adjust the size. Okay. You can adjust the opacity to make it kind of pale or bold. Okay. What's this one? Oh, it gets rid of the inside. That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna keep just at a size 12 and apply the outline. You can do more than one, so I can go up here to filter, and maybe I'm also going to put, that was an outline, an outer glow on the image. Okay, so that one's like a white glow around the edges. I can change the color. Let's bring some of this blue back in to the composition. Okay, now it looks like just another outline around the edge. So I like to take this and feather it by quite a bit. I'll adjust the size too. And I'm going to take the opacity down. See if I go other way. Like that. Okay, so I'm okay with that. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit apply. And there is my radial design. I have 2 filters on there, or 3 filters rather, on the design. And I added in that background. Again, this is up to you. Remember, we want to create unity. So instead of picking out brand new colors, I was trying to pick colors from within the composition itself. Things that I can pull it together and it looks purposeful and not just randomly selected. My background's a little bit darker than my image, so hopefully my image stands out a little bit more, is at least my thought. So I hope this was fun. I hope your radial designs turn out and you love them as much as I love mine. So I'm going to finish this up by hitting File and Save. Again, check the file name, save it as a PNG, same widths, and download. Okay, that one looks good. And close. And then the last thing that we're going to do is do our screenshot for our progress photos. So Control and the multi-window screen button above the 6. And I got my screenshot. Okay, so if you have any concerns or questions about the project or this step, please reach out and let me know. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing your digital mandalas.